Welcome, beautiful people of all ages, shapes, and colors, to another episode of the Hit Your Free Throws podcast, where we encourage you to stick to the basics. It's your co-host TV, aka TV on basketball, alongside my co-host Jay, aka the Knockdown Jay. How's it going, my guy?
Bro, it's going great. How you feeling today?
Feeling good, feeling good. It March Madness starts tomorrow, right? It feels like no one's really talking about it. So the NBA caught it. We can still stick to the NBA. I think we're pretty safe with that and stuff. So we're gonna have another great NBA episode for you guys today. Lots of great topics to discuss, and yeah, this is just a lot of great content as we do every single week. And me and here, Jay, are you excited for this episode today?
Yeah, man, we're locked in. We got some interesting stuff to talk about on this one.
Yeah, for sure. But of course, before we start on the episode today, we do have to plug our socials. Remember to follow our individual accounts at the Knockdown J, at TV on Basketball. Those individual links will be down in the description below. But as for the Hit Your Free Throws podcast, remember to follow us on TikTok and Instagram for the best daily NBA content. And don't forget to subscribe and leave your review if you're on any of the podcast networks, Spotify or Apple Podcasts. And if you're on YouTube, again, subscribe and hit the notification bell so you will not miss an episode. I believe this is like episode 6, episode 7, something around that. We are gonna start like pulling out the content very soon, so you don't want to miss out on this ride. So be on the lookout. Again, follow all the socials and check out the YouTube channel. Stuff is really gonna pop off real soon. But Jay, let's get into let's talk some basketball, right? We're here to talk some NBA basketball. Let's start talking.
Yes, sir.
Let's get
So I
into
mean,
it.
I mean,
Yeah,
we got a lot on the docket, bro. Let's lock in. Let's lock in.
let us lock in. And kind of like last week, it's a topic that it's been kind of circulating around the NBA community over the past week or so, but I feel like we have to share our thoughts on it. Kendrick Perkins went on First Take and he was discussing his MVP decision to go with Joel Embiid, but he did make some comments regarding Nikola Jokic and why he doesn't believe that he should be the first the 3 straight MVPs since Larry Bird. And he went to bring up the fact that he believes that the NBA voters have a racial bias towards him, stating that he, along with other white MVP winners and Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki, um, were the only MVP winners outside of the top 10 in scoring. He was talking about how um, they're not put to the same expectations as black NBA players, saying, "Oh, if playoff success doesn't matter, then that affects the MVP decision." He went on to say also that, yeah, all this other stuff regarding just the MVP race and how Nikola Jokic doesn't deserve it. And of course, the biggest point he made was about the race comments. But Jay, is his points valid, or is it just another nonsense that Kendrick Perkins just continues to do on First Take, which it feels like?
Man, I just think it's Kendrick Perkins back at it again with another clickbait take, bro. I just
Yeah.
feel like it's another one of those things where we're not really using any kind of valid background to support that. I just don't think that's the position that we've been in. I feel as though Nikola Jokic, now don't get me wrong, Nikola Jokic is definitely a stat darling to NBA nerds. Nikola Jokic is the poster child for the NBA stat nerd community, right? When you look
Mm-hmm.
at the perspective of what he does offensively, and then even what the numbers show for him from a defensive perspective, the numbers are skewed in a very favorable way to him, and that's something that a lot of people that follow that community or stand within that community tend to lean on, and that tends to end up formulating their beliefs around who MVP should be. And most of the time, that leads to a guy like Nikola Jokic, who can fill up
Yeah.
the stat sheet and also oddly has a pretty solid defensive rating as an individual player, which doesn't show up on the film at all, but in terms of just what shows up statistically is a well-known fact, right? I think at the
Mm-hmm.
end of the day, MVP, we talked about it off camera, and I want to bring it back. I want to bring it onto the podcast now.
Yeah.
TV, I think that with the way this season has been, me and you entered the season believing that the volatility around how much parity is in the NBA would be the biggest topic of NBA sports TV on a day-to-day basis. The fact that the standings are so close, who deserves to be in the MVP race? I mean, who deserves to be in the NBA playoffs? Who do you think is a legitimate contender? Those are the things that I think would have the most conflicting viewpoints on, right? But it seems like in the
Yeah.
talking head universe, people are in agreement that like if the Lakers make the playoffs, they're going to be a dangerous team that could take out one, if not both of the top two seeds in the Western Conference. And there's all of this super belief in teams like the Milwaukee Bucks and the Boston Celtics, right? There's a lot of discourse around the parity, but most of it involves people being really in agreement, right? Like I think
Yeah.
when you listen to talking heads, a lot of people agree. Bucks, Boston, Philly, Phoenix if healthy, right? Like there's a certain
Yeah.
team where people like pretty much locked up. But TV, I said it when we were talking on camera. If you had to walk into a room full of NBA fans and you had to say one thing to start a fight, to start a riot, go into a room full of NBA fans and say, I think Nikola Jokic is the MVP. I think the whole room might come down in 5 minutes because it's just that volatile of a conversation that once you bring it up, the wheels just start turning and all of a sudden it just becomes this big old debate because you can make an argument for like 4 or 5 dudes who are really deserving of the spot.
Yeah. I mean, what it really comes down to, and I think it's weird because the last three MVP years have been basically the same three people like in the conversation, which is Giannis Antetokounmpo, Joel Embiid, and Nikola Jokic.
Right.
This year, more than ever, the camps from each of these guys are like as volatile as it could be. That's what it
Right.
feels like. Like you're gonna have Jokic with the stat nerd saying this, this, and this, but now he's like the number one team in the league. He's like near that. You have the Giannis argument. Well, Giannis is actually the best team in the league, and his numbers are like absolutely ridiculous. Embiid, he's like one of the leading scorers in the league, this and that, and the 76ers wouldn't be where they were without him. So like this year more than ever, and I think it has to do a lot with Jokic like potentially winning his third MVP in a row, which is really kind of like dividing people at this point. But the fact that Kendrick Perkins went about it the way he did, I think was just kind of like factual, like was like not correct in that sense.
Mm,
I mean, to say that there's no racial bias in the NBA is ridiculous. There is obviously going to be some sort of racial bias,
right.
especially when like the owner is fully white, like full like basically just like white males and stuff like that. We're not denying the fact that racial bias does exist in the NBA. But in
Right.
terms of this topic, especially with the MVP, this is the most like the biggest ever changing like in terms of like storylines and sort of like narrative. MVP changes like from year to year.
Yeah.
Whether you want to talk about like Westbrook winning it, the triple double year, it's something we haven't seen in like 60 years. We have to give it to him. You want to talk about best player and the best team? I mean, Derrick Rose, 2011. That was his biggest argument. Like the Bulls were like the best team in the league by far that year. That was going to be his biggest argument. Like it's the type of conversation where I can't. I like it's hard to say that there's like a certain criteria for MVP. It's a
Mm,
lot about narrative and certain things like whatever narrative is driven for that year. That's what's gonna is gonna be the bias for that season. So I think like trying to like pin it on race, I think is just like not correct. There might again, I'm not going to completely dismiss it, but I think that just like the way he went about it was just not right. And there are other arguments you can make that Joel Embiid should be deserving of MVP. Giannis Antetokounmpo. I just don't think that Kendrick Perkins should have went that route because let's be honest. I mean, like Jokic's team just lost 4 games in a row. That
yeah.
opens the opportunity for Giannis, for Joel Embiid. Like this race isn't over. This race is still far from. It's still like it's not like Nikola Jokic is like locked in for MVP. Like Joel still has a chance. Giannis still has a chance. There are other arguments that could be made, and I just think that the way he went about it, and JJ Redick absolutely destroyed him afterwards. Let's be completely honest.
Yes, that's true too. And I
Yeah,
mean, it's one of those things where I think I just again, this is one of the interesting things about media from the aspect of having day-to-day shows, right? These
yeah,
daily sports talk shows is that you have to have something to talk about on a day-to-day basis and you have to have something that helps generate discourse. And I'm not gonna lie, like Kendrick Perkins just really does fall into that category of like the buzzword individual for the like
yeah,
for these shows, right? I mean, the guys that come to mind, and I hate to put these dudes on blast, but I think it
yeah,
has to taken into consideration. There's a handful of guys that are on TV, like Kendrick Perkins, like Ryan Hollins once upon a time, right?
Yeah.
And another facet of it, I think that a guy like Nick Wright does it in a way where he can gaslight people using statistics as a way
Yeah.
to make cases for others, but be dismissive make cases for one set of people, but then be really dismissive of others. And then when you go back and you really do the stats deep dive, he'll say somebody's better in a category, but it'll be like by point one. But he'll frame it in this narrative that the player he's in favor of is that much better than
Yeah.
another guy. It's a lot of discourse that doesn't have a lot of real like meat and potatoes behind
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
And so it ends up creating a lot of controversy, despite the fact that most of the time it really just comes off as clickbait, bro. It's literally meant
Yeah.
to be the spark plug to get things up and going. I'm not saying that they don't believe these things, but I'm saying this is how you get ratings, Stevie.
Yeah, TV's dying. You're gonna need. These are the type of things that they have to keep alive if they want TV to continue going, especially with the shows that they have going on. The only thing, I mean, before we like move on to the next topic, because we really shouldn't be like this shouldn't be really like too much of a topic after this, but I just hope that this conversation doesn't like get to the wrong hands. Like I don't want to be seeing like this conversation make it to like national media, and then you see like these like all like these like white conservatives saying, "Oh, I fully support JJ Redick in this. Oh, Nikola Jokic, of course he's my MVP." It's like, no, this is not the conversation that we're supposed to be having. It's like
Yeah.
there are certain points that to be made that could make for Giannis or Joel Embiid to be MVP or Jokic to be MVP. We don't have to take it to that next level and make it political. Like we don't have to take it to that
No,
point.
not at all.
Yeah, and I just hope it doesn't go to the wrong hands because it feels like it could lead to that. And the minute I see someone like Tucker Carlson or something like that wear a freaking like Nikola Jokic jersey on live TV, that's when I know it's gone too far. That is when I know it's gone too far. So
Definitely,
hopefully,
definitely agree.
hopefully, hopefully we can move past that. But Jay, let's talk about some actual NBA topics. Let's go into it.
Please,
Let's
please.
let's go. Let's please get out of this. Let's get out of here. Right now we're at what recording of this March 15th. The episode's gonna come on a day later than usual, but that's completely fine. But we are basically a couple weeks left into the NBA season, and which means we're gonna start going through like some season review stuff. We're gonna have our awards, of course, our award picks near the end of the season. We're gonna have our playoff predictions soon. So I thought today was a great day to make our all NBA selections as well as all rookie selections as well. So of course, the all rookie teams, they have the first and second team, all NBA first, second, and third team. We're gonna start off with the rookies, and what I like about the all rookie class, and I think we talked about this off camera.
Mhm.
It's positionless. It is positionless, like the five positions for first and second team, and I love it that way. Hopefully, the all NBA teams can actually fit that like going forward, maybe in the future, because
Mhm.
for some reason, like that's the only thing left that still acknowledges the center position. I mean, we got rid of that for the All Star game. I don't know why we still have this for all NBA teams, but I like the way the all rookie team is. You could just pick the five best rookies for the first team, five best rookies for the second team, and that is it. And that's what we're going to be talking about here today first. So, Jay, let's start off with the all rookie first team. I'm going to throw it over to you. We're not going to go position by position, but let me know who is on your all NBA, all rookie first team.
All right, so I got to get the main staples out the way first. I got Paulo Banchero. I've got Ben Mathurin.
Yep.
I've got Jalen Williams, OKC's guard, Jalen Williams.
Yes.
Because I got to make sure you specify that.
Yeah.
I have Walker Kessler, and then that fifth guy. I'm going with Keegan Murray.
Keegan Murray. Okay. Very, very interesting. Any like who are you debating there for the last position?
Honestly, I mean, it's kind of tough because I mean, there is a significant drop off in this class from a production standpoint. There's a lot of guys that have went a little dormant. There's a
Yeah.
handful of guys that are not getting as much time as you'd like. For example, I was a huge fan of like Mark Williams coming out of the draft, and I thought he would be a
Yeah.
perfect fit in Charlotte because they desperately need a center. He
Mhm.
kind of just started getting real PT like
Yeah.
recently, and it's unfortunate because LaMelo Ball is out now, and I think LaMelo Ball would really be able to utilize a guy like Mark Williams' skill set as a rim runner. But
Mhm.
now Mark Williams doesn't have a passer like LaMelo Ball on the team anymore. So it's going to change his output. Or like Shaden Sharp, for example. I thought he was going to be insane this year as a really
Yeah.
solid pickup addition for the Portland Trailblazers. And unfortunately, he just hasn't been super impactful. Like he's kind of the
Yeah.
definition of the flash in the pan rookie that's gonna give you these highlight moments and these insane stretches, but he's not really gonna put it together in a way that really gives you a strong body of work to lean on. So there was a handful of other guys that, like from a talent perspective, I think were good enough to maybe make this first spot. But unfortunately, I just don't think they showed out all the way to really crack the
Yeah.
top five.
Okay, got you. Got you. Well, I'm gonna tell you right now, 4 of the 5 we have the same. I have Jalen
Okay.
Williams, OKC. He really has turned it up the last like 2 months or so, so he definitely has kind of
Hmm.
like has worked his way into that conversation. Paolo Banchero, I mean, I don't think it's gonna be any surprise. I mean, even though our award show's in a couple weeks, I mean, he's probably gonna win Rookie of the Year. Let's be completely honest. We're not gonna sugarcoat it. It's literally he's just gonna win Rookie of the Year. Benedict Mathurin is also here for me as well as Walker Kessler. I think that his ability, especially on the defensive end this year, being one of the best like rim protectors in basketball and only being a rookie, like serves a lot of weight here, and I think that he deserves to be on the first team. But instead of Keegan Murray here, I got Jaden Ivey.
Okay.
Jaden Ivey was my other pick. Yes, he hasn't been like the most efficient guy in the world, but still, 15 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I think he's done a solid job, especially in the absence of Cade Cunningham this year, and that has just given him like like being more comfortable as the lead guard for this team. Whether it's going to
Mhm.
be him next year or Cade Cunningham, really doesn't matter. I think that's going to be a really good backcourt for years to come. But yeah, those are my first team guys so far. I think a lot of like there's gonna be a lot of like agreements for like even like the NBA voters as well. That fifth spot, like you mentioned, gonna be a little bit different, but in terms of first team, I think most of them are pretty unanimous. But Jay, moving on to the second team, who do you got as your all rookie second team?
Now, our rookie second team is kind of a different animal. I'm not gonna lie, because they're not as straightforward. But I got Jaden Ivey, definitely on that list.
Yeah.
I got Jeremy Sochan for
Hmm.
San Antonio. Definitely came on strong after getting the free throws right.
Yeah.
In terms of switching to the one hander, it's been really solid on that as well. Jalen Duren is a rebound monster. He's an absolute demon on the boards. Definitely
Hmm.
somebody you want to pick up in fantasy if you
Yeah.
need some rebounding assistance as well. And then the other two guys that I'm gonna go with, I'm gonna go with Jabari Smith Jr. He's been really picking it up as of late, and I think he's just in a really interesting situation, man. He's a guy that came into the league with not a ton of on-ball prowess, and he's a dude that we kept saying when he got drafted he was gonna need to develop it, but he's a dude that can come straight in, shoot the three ball at a high clip, and be a catch and shoot threat. Unfortunately, he just has really not gotten that opportunity, but he's getting the reps in. He's shooting 5 3-point attempts per game, but he's hitting them at 31.1%. I
Hmm.
think he's in a situation right now where he just doesn't have a point guard that really can help like bring out the skill set that he has readily available to him right now with Kevin Porter Jr. and even another high volume guard like Jalen on the team. So it's like one of those things where I just feel like Jabari Smith has a little bit more in his bag. He's even played center for this team a little bit. So like
Yeah.
he has another gear I think he can get to. Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. just are not the I don't think them together is the backcourt that you need to help bring that out of him. And then the other two guys that I have,
Oh, I think there's one
or
more
it's
for
one
you.
thing is
One
one
more.
more. I
Yeah.
think the other wild card guy I gotta go with. I think I'm gonna go with Andrew Nimhart for Indiana. Like Andrew's just
Yeah.
been so steady, bro. Like he's just
Yeah.
been really solid as a player this year, and I just think he's fallen under the radar because Indiana, obviously that by itself. But then there's
Yeah.
there's the Tyrese Halliburton element. There's the Miles Turner element. There's even the Benedict Mathurin element. Like there's a handful of guys on that Indiana squad that just come before him, and so he doesn't get a lot of talk, but he's just a steady hand, and he just does anything that Coach Carlisle asks him to do. He's competitive on the defensive end. I just like him a lot. He's a guy that I think could be like a Tyus Jones level of backup point guard, which I think is really like a really high commodity in the NBA this year.
Valuable in the league for sure.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah. And once again, I think we have 4 of the same guys here as well. Jabari Smith, I had him on the list. Yes, the numbers have not really like been like wow in terms of his ability, like in terms of um like in terms of like what we expected from him, especially being like the third overall pick this year. And I think it just has to do with the system. The Rockets are a mess. The Rockets are
Right.
just an absolute mess. And when you have two players like Kevin Porter Jr. and Jalen Green running your team, it's hard to get your shots up there. I mean, he's
Right.
doing his best. He's doing his best, but at the same time, I just think it's just a really bad scenario for him to be him. Even though like the Rockets really had no choice. I mean, there was no other way. Like you're not going to choose Jabari Smith at that number 3 spot. So I have him in there for sure. Sochan, I've been loving watching him this year. He's just like he plays with a lot of intensity, and I just think he's just like a perfect like building block piece. Maybe not someone that you would like center your offense around, but he's just someone that a lot of NBA teams would just like want on their team. Like fights hard on the glass, like scores at a decent rate. He definitely deserves to be here. Um, like you said, you had Keegan Murray on your first team. Of course, I have him on my second team. Just been again another steady hand for the Sacramento Kings. People thought, like especially after that summer league performance, that he was going to be in Rookie of the Year talks, and he kind of has been. But also, I mean, he's just been more of like just like a solid piece for the Sacramento Kings, and he has been doing that very well this year. Jalen Duren leads all rookies in double doubles. This guy's a rebounding machine, and I think that he's again the Pistons really need a center in this year's draft. They got it, and he's going to be one for them in the future. I think he's going to be really good. And then for that finals position, it actually did come down to this guy and Andrew Nemhard, but I didn't want to show my Canadian bias, but also I really want to put Nemhard here, but I got to go with Tari Eason.
I feel that. I feel that.
I went with Tari Eason of the Houston Rockets. For a second round pick, this guy got a lot of hype going through the season, and I saw it especially like in the summer league and just kind of seeing this like his like highlights from college and stuff. And he actually has been pretty solid this year. 9 points a game, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. I think that I mean like as a first round like as like a late first round pick, but I think that he's going to be again someone who doesn't need the ball all the time, someone who's like willing to play like his position and he like can produce what the minutes he has on the court. Again, it's hard for him to really like get like as many attempts with Jalen Green and Kevin Porter Jr. as your backcourt, but he's doing the best like with the situation he's given, and whoever they add next year to the team, whether it's potentially a Scoot Anderson, whether it's a Victor Wembanyama, I think that the pieces are starting to fit together for the Houston Rockets, and Tari Eason is definitely one of those guys that they want to keep along long term.
All right. So TV for the viewers at
Yeah.
home, your 2023 all rookie first and second team is what?
Okay, got you. For my first team, I got Jaden Ivey, Jalen Williams, the guard Jalen Williams, the one like let's be again, we have to be really like specific with that. Paolo Banchero, Benedict Mathurin, and Walker Kessler. And on my second team, give me Keegan Murray, Jeremy Sochan, Jalen Duren, Jabari Smith Jr., and also Tari Eason. Jay, throw it back at me. What are yours?
Yeah, man. So for me, my All NBA rookie teams are going to start with Paolo Banchero, Benedict Mathurin, the guard Jalen Williams for OKC, Keegan Murray, and Walker Kessler. And for the second team, I have Jaden Ivey, Jeremy Sochan, Jalen Duren, Jabari Smith, and Andrew Nemhard. Excuse me.
Yes, perfect. Again, if we're missing anyone, I think we got through most of them. I mean, the only other person I was even like considering here was big body David Roddy of the of the Memphis Grizzlies. I mean, he's been pretty solid this year. But if there's anyone else we're missing, let us know down below.
Yeah.
We get that out the way. Let's go into the meat and potatoes of all this, the All NBA teams, and we're gonna hit hard, man. We're gonna hit hard with the All NBA first team first, and we're gonna start in the front court. Jay, who are your three front? What is it? 2 front court and center. Yeah, we're still working with the center in the All NBA teams. Like, come on now. We have the All Rookie teams having like complete positionless, and the All NBA teams we're still losing a center. Come on now. We gotta change that up, NBA. We gotta change it up. But Jay, nonetheless, your 2 forwards in the center. Who do you have on the All NBA first team?
Oh man, this one was hard.
It was hard.
So I have Luka Doncic. I'm keeping Steph Curry in there.
Oh, so you're starting with the backcourt first? We're going backcourt?
Oh, we're doing front court. I'm sorry. You said sort of front.
I mean, let's start with the front. Since you already said those, let's start with the backcourt.
Okay, yeah. I have Luka and Steph in the backcourt. My fault.
Got you. No worries. But
and then for the front court.
Wait, actually, give your reasonings. Like maybe like we'll start with the backcourt. We'll talk about them, and then like we'll bounce back and forth.
Oh,
and
okay, cool. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Oh, so yeah, your reasonings for those two.
Yeah, Luka and Steph. I mean, at the end of the day, bro, I mean, they've just been 2 really dominant forces when they've been on the floor. Luka Doncic is like the only, I mean, he's like the only thing that really was giving the Mavericks any kind of real competitive edge throughout the beginning portion of the season. They were just way too dependent on him prior to the Kyrie Irving stuff. And even with Kyrie Irving's acquisition, Luka Doncic has either not been available or they haven't been too great as a duo so
Yeah.
far. This is a team. This is a team that has had to be pretty much a lot more offensively centric, especially after the Kyrie Irving trade, and it just hasn't translated well. But I think that Luka Doncic is just a standing force at the guard position that I just don't think you can make an argument that from an overall body of work standpoint, there's anybody that really has a better overall makeup this season than what Luka has done. And then for Steph Curry, I'm sorry, bro, but like I know he's missed time. I know this whole thing about the Warriors road record is like freaking horrible. But
Yeah.
dude, anytime this team has a healthy Steph Curry, they are just like an absolute danger. Like he just plays at a completely different gear. It makes them significantly different, and but you can tell he's one of those players, and unfortunately, one of the guys that's not gonna make my All NBA team. Is also gonna unfortunately fall into this category, but I just don't feel like his gravity has as much impact as a guy like Steph Curry. But you can see that the difference between a guy like Steph Curry on the floor versus off the floor, it doesn't just change the overall productivity of the Golden State Warriors. It quite literally changes the mentality that they play with.
Yeah.
And that's just something that you see as like it's super apparent. And I have to give it weight, bro. I have to give it respect.
Yeah, no, that's 100% true, and he was definitely on that list for me for the top two guard positions. For myself, I agree with you with the Luka Doncic situation. I mean, that was the one where I was like 100% sure he's going to make it the first team. He's played a good chunk of the season. I know he's injured right now, but he has played a good chunk, and he has just been absolutely ridiculous. I mean, he would be in MVP discussions if his team wasn't in the play-in. I mean, they're ninth right now, which is the only thing really holding him back. But that doesn't take away from the fact that leading the league in scoring, almost averaging a triple double. I mean, he was the driving force most of the season. He was the one carrying this team for the good part, and he still might have to do it now because Kyrie Irving has missed some significant time as well. So it's going to be a bit of a carry job for Luka this year. But that doesn't go unnoticed. He is still on my All NBA first team.
Right.
And I was gonna have Steph on my first team too, but I just had to deduct him a little bit for those games played. So instead, I went with Donovan Mitchell, man. I went with Donovan Mitchell for my All
Mm,
NBA first team selection. 59 games played, and the fact, honestly, before I even go into the stats, the fact that he is able to just transition into the Cleveland lineup with such ease, and he didn't really miss a step. Like early on the season, I know the Cleveland was like absolutely on fire, and they've kind of slowed down a little bit here, but he has been like the 100% the leader there, and he's like really like changing up, the cult. Like he has been someone like they've been like wanting. They needed that go-to scorer, and they finally got on him, averaging basically 28 points a game, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. I mean, like even to this day, I still think Donovan Mitchell is a little bit underrated by a lot of people, and I think that he still like deserves a lot of love here on this first team. Not the best defender, obviously, but he has a massive impact on that Cavs team, who are still a top four seed in the East. They're gonna probably they have a good chance of getting home court advantage, and Donovan Mitchell is a big reason of that. So give me him at the 2 position. But yeah, those are my two backup positions. Jay, let's hear your forwards. Who you got in those positions?
it's pretty easy, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Especially now that there's no now that there's still, I guess, the center position or whatever.
Yeah.
So I've got Giannis and Tatum at the forwards, and I've got Jokic at the center position. I feel like all of these guys literally just slide directly into the spots with no real deterrent there. If you want to make the argument for Embiid over Jokic, I think you're just stepping into the MVP conversation.
Yeah.
So maybe I'm telling my hand as to who I would vote for if I had the vote. But I
Yeah.
think that when you look at it, Giannis, Tatum, and Jokic just all kind of fall into that category where I just feel like they just have solidified themselves as the best players at those positions. And I, bro, this is the crazy part. I think that first team is kind of spelled out so easily, but when I was trying to put this list together, and I think you made a great point about Donovan Mitchell, and I think you can make a decent argument that like to switch Donovan Mitchell and Steph Curry around. I honestly
Yeah.
don't even think I would give a ton of pushback towards that.
Mm, yeah.
Um, but once you get the All NBA second and third team, bro, somebody's feelings gotta get hurt, bro. The
Yeah.
first team might be a linchpin,
Yeah.
but these other two,
Yeah, for
I
sure.
don't know, man.
Yeah. And we can move this press really quickly because I have the exact same three guys. I have Jason Tatum, Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Nikola Jokic. I think the best way to describe this All-NBA first team is that, compared to the second team at least, a lot of the arguments for like injuries and like missing time and stuff, we all kind of push those guys to the second team, and the first team guys, like, there really no like pushback in terms of the amount of games they played, the type of play they had this season. So they're basically all locked into their like first team positions, especially with like Luka, Tatum, Giannis, Jokic. All those things like really don't matter, and like I don't think it's going to be really arguable at that, especially with the forward positions and the amount of times the other guys have missed. That Tatum and Giannis are like the clear choices for that, and then Jokic, like you mentioned. Again, we're not stepping into that MVP conversation, but again, I'm showing my hand here. He's my first team center, and I think that, again, you can make the argument for Embiid. It all depends on where you fall under that discussion. But yeah, we basically have the same two. I mean, Tatum, second seed in the East. Boston Celtics are great. Giannis, best team in the league, ridiculous numbers. We don't have to go any further. We know what these guys bring to the table. But Jay, throwing it back to you, we are going to the second team All NBA. Give me your backcourt. Who do you have at your two guard positions?
I have Donovan Mitchell here. That was an easy lock because, like I said, I feel like him and Steph Curry were interchangeable.
Yeah.
And I got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. A little bit of bias because he's one of my favorite guards. Not gonna lie, but I mean, dude's one of the top 5 scorers in the NBA. Top 10 at the lowest, considering the volume is changing on a night-to-night basis. You look at what the Oklahoma City Thunder are doing right now, where they're legitimately in the playoff conversation. Granted, it's more of the play-in, but they look like a legit threat in the play-in, mind
They're
you.
eighth. They're eighth right now, bro.
It's insane, bro.
Yeah.
Like, they're, in terms of the play-in, they are a legit danger. Jalen Williams is playing very good basketball, as you mentioned in the all-rookie segment. Josh Giddey is catching fire as of late, which has been huge, especially from the way he's been shooting beyond the arc lately, because that was the big criticism about Josh Giddey coming in the year 2, was like, bro, we need you to be a threat from beyond the arc in order to open up the floor even more for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, because that's going to unlock this team. The shooting across the board for this team has been really, really good for them overall. I mean, OKC has been really good this year, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander has been a real tone setter for this team, playing much better basketball than we've seen in years past. I just feel like you can't, bro. I feel like you have to award people who take. We did this with John Morant a season ago. I feel like you have to award people who take that leap from being considered as an all-star / fringe all-star caliber player to being like a dude who really lands into that, like, yo, is he top 3 at his own position? Like, I don't know if Shai is that definitively at the point guard position, but I think you can sit down and make a strong argument for him. And a season ago, I don't think people were doing that. But I think this year you could look at the pool at the point guard position and you could make a pretty decent case for him.
Yeah, 100%. And for the backcourt position for this, I mean, like, to be honest, I was like, when I was like making this list, maybe late last week, I had Damian Lillard at this position over Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. But this recent run by the Oklahoma City Thunder and the fact that Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, even to this point, I mean, like, honestly, like, later on to the season, I was fully expecting the Oklahoma City Thunder just to shut him down and say, oh, we're gonna go back to the tag thing. No, they're still competing here. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is still playing at a top 5 point guard level. And honestly, as a, like, my position changed like 2 days ago. I have Shai Gilgeous-Alexander as well in my All NBA second team. Ridiculous numbers across the board, at career highs across the board. Over 50% from the field as a freaking point guard is nuts. 90% from the free throw line, 35% from 3. He is like the ultimate leader on that team, and we haven't even seen Chet Holmgren yet, bro. We still have not seen Chet Holmgren yet.
Insane.
And like, he's adding to their team next year as basically a whole new addition. And Shai, with the current lineup he has right now, is still able to like take this team to another level, which, granted, none of us saw coming at the beginning of the season, but he has been able to do so. And then for my second guard position, I mean, like you mentioned, it was going to be Steph or Donovan Mitchell on the first team. I had Donovan Mitchell on the first team, which means I have Stephen Curry on the second team. I'm not denying his ability. I mean, Steph Curry is still the best point guard in the league. I will say that comfortably. It's just the Warriors, man. Like, I don't even. I mean, this is gonna be a whole nother conversation, like on like a different episode, especially when we do playoff predictions. But I don't even know how to feel about this team in general. I mean, the only consistent guys like I know that will show up for me day in day out, it's probably Steph Curry and Draymond Green. I still have my question on Klay Thompson, especially defensively, but those are the only two like steady hands I can see from the Golden State Warriors. Besides that, the rest of the team is a kind of a crapshoot. We have no idea what's happening with Wiggins. But what we do know for sure is that Steph Curry, no matter what, no matter that he's on the floor, he's going to be producing at an MVP level. I mean, 36-6, basically almost 50-40-90 again. He's literally 0.3% off from another 50-40-90 season. Yeah. And this would be MVP numbers, but once again, the record is just hurting him right now. And, again, the Warriors, I have no idea what to feel about this team. This is like the road record is absolutely horrendous. So, but one thing's for sure is that Steph Curry is going to produce night in, night out. Jay, throwing it back over to you. Your 2 forwards and center for the All-NBA second team.
All right, so TV, I have to ask you a qualifying question real quick.
Yep.
Does Jaylen Brown count as a guard or a forward?
Actually, this is a very good question because he is in that conversation as well. I have him listed as a guard.
Okay. So my adjustment, because I have to kind of adjust it on the fly.
Yeah.
My adjustment is I'm still putting Jimmy Butler there. Okay. I still think that he's deserving of the spot. I'm putting LeBron there. Okay. And I'm putting Embiid there. Those are the 3 guys. I would definitely take Jaylen Brown in a heartbeat. I think over Jimmy in a season like this. I think this is going to come up a little bit later, but there's a couple of other guys that I think qualify as a forward position that you maybe can make a push for. Mm-hmm. If I had to swap Jimmy out, I gotta tell the truth, TV. I think I would give it to Julius Randle, low key.
Don't even talk about it.
And I know that sounds crazy because he's a meme on this podcast, but we got to start being real about Julius, man. I think the forward position this year is so light. Everybody's injured, bro. Paul George exists. I get it. Kawhi Leonard's back now, but he's missed too much of the year. Kevin Durant would be a great pick here, but every time we've seen so much of Kevin Durant, yet we're about to go 3 straight months without seeing Kevin Durant. So you can't put him on the list with how much time he's missed consecutively, despite the fact that he's been so good. The forward pool is just nasty, bro. I don't feel It's kind of like when we did our all-star picks. I don't love the forward position this year. LeBron has been really good when he's on the floor, injured right now. If Jaylen Brown counted as a forward, this would be easy work. Jimmy Butler has been good. Miami has been bad. That's the difference, right? Yeah. Jimmy has been good this season. Bam has been good this season. I would even say Tyler Hero has been a steady hand. The rest of the team is just not shooting the ball well. Kyle Lowry is cooked. The team's not playing well, but he's playing well. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's tough. I'm not a big fan of the forward position at all. That's why I said once we got to this point, it's a toss-up.
Yeah. So who do you got so far? You got LeBron and so you got LeBron, Embiid, and Jimmy.
I think I'm gonna go Butler.
You're gonna go Jimmy Butler. Interesting. Okay.
I don't love it though.
Yeah. I had KD on this list last week, man. Like when I had him on the list, but that injury, that pregame injury, man, I don't think he's gonna reach 50 games. I don't think he's gonna reach 50 games this year.
Dude, I literally don't even think he's gonna really qualify.
That's the thing. So this forward position is tough. I will say this though. In my first forward position, I have LeBron James. My center, I have Joel Embiid. I think we both are in agreement of that. Mm-hmm. My other forward, oh man, even right now I'm not. I got Julius Randle.
I'm telling you, TV. I know Julius Randle is a meme on this podcast, bro, but I'm telling you, in a weird year like this, we might have to throw some respect on Julius. We might have to really throw some respect on Julius Randle, bro. I'm trying to tell you, because the forward position is buns. And look, I'm gonna put some respect on Julius for the viewers, because I don't think people understand. Me and TV definitely had Julius Randle pinned as the last guy drafted when we did the All-Star draft. But let's keep it a bean about Julius Randle this season, bro. Julius Randle is averaging 25.2 points per game. That's a career high for him.
Yeah.
4.1 assists, 10.3 rebounds is the best of his career and the best overall in general in terms of not just his time with the New York Knicks, but kind of his best even dating back to like the New Orleans Pelicans and the Lakers years. Like this
Yeah.
stands out as like a big time year. He's only averaged double-digit rebounds 2 other times before this. And then the shooting, bro. 7 free throw attempts per game at 75% from the line. 7 free throw attempts per game is a career high. When you look at the 2-point percentage, 55% from 2-point, 34% from beyond the arc at 8.3 attempts per game. 8.3. Mind you,
Yeah.
when he had his crazy 41% clip season 2 years ago, he was only taking 5.5 a game. So
Yeah.
he's putting uptick up, and although he's not back at 40%, he's shooting relatively around league average
Yeah.
while upping his overall attempts, and then 45.8% from the field. Bro,
Yeah.
the Knicks
And
are
less
good.
minutes as well.
Like,
And then less minutes. And then less minutes as well.
and like you mentioned beforehand, Tom Thibodeau is not running his tail into the ground the way
Yeah.
we've seen in years past. Granted, he's definitely still, playing about 35 minutes a game, but the dude he's just been much better. Jalen Brunson has just given Julius Randle the leeway to be able to just operate the way he operates best without having to necessarily be the number one option on a night-to-night basis, and it's made his job that much easier. We might have to respect Julius Randle, bro. We might have to really respect this man.
I mean, like for me, it's always been like a debate between him and Siakam in terms of like ability over the past couple years, especially. And this season, I tried everything in my power not to put him higher, but Julius Randle, I have him on my second team. Like you took the words out of my mouth. He is having, especially in the second half of the season, he's playing phenomenal. I don't even think he's missed a game this year.
You know what, TV? I'm moving Julius.
To number
I'm
2.
moving Julius.
Moving Julius to second team. Yeah.
Gotta move him up, man.
Yeah.
Gotta move him up.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he's been having another ridiculous season. The Knicks are a top 5 seed in the East, like looking more compatible than ever. I gotta show some respect on his name. I mean, the other two guys were kind of self-explanatory. I mean, LeBron's having like at 38 years old, like what the heck are these numbers, man?
No, seriously.
Yeah, like what are these numbers at 38 years old? And then Embiid is literally probably going to be second in MVP voting. It just sucks that he's a center that he has to be on the second team. But yeah, those two are givens. But man, I'm showing my love to Julius Randle here. He is going to be in that other 4 position. The Knicks have been really good. Whether you have Jalen Brunson or not in your third team, we're gonna have to wait and see, or for me as well. But Julius Randle, they need to have one representative. Julius Randle is going to be that for me, all NBA second team. Let's move on to the third team. Jay, throwing it over back to you. Third team, all NBA. Who are your guards?
This was so hard, bro.
Yeah.
This was so hard. Dame makes the list. Dame. I feel like he has to. I know that Portland's not good, but Damian Lillard is just too good. I'm sorry, he's just too good.
He is too good.
Damian Lillard has just been too good this season. And the other guy that I have for the third team, I had to throw D-Book on there, bro. I had to keep him. D-Book has just been I again, another guy that we kind of have to throw some respect on out of the fact that he's a dude that's missed a good amount of time. So I think there's an easy argument against Devin Booker if you wanted to just say, hey, but bro missed a significant amount of time. TV, we have to remember how in shambles the Phoenix Suns looked while Devin Booker was out, bro. The Phoenix Suns were one of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference. And in the beginning, after D-Book went down, they were just a team we were watching fall down the totem pole night after night after night. And they started to get things back ramped up, and they started hovering around that 4-5 spot, and they still kind of are in that same lane. But when D-Book was not on the floor, we didn't know whether this team was a play-in team, a playoff team. We weren't sure what this squad was capable of doing without Devin Booker on the floor. This season, 27.8 points per game, career high. 5.7 assists per game, best since 2019-2020 season. 4.5 rebounds, tied for the second best of his career. 83.8 free throw percentage from the free throw line on 6.2 attempts per game. Even if you look at the 2-point numbers, right? Like 14.5 attempts, 54%,
Yeah.
36% from the 3-point line. Like the dude's just playing insane. Like again, the
Yeah.
mid-range numbers for Devin Booker have been insane this year. He's just been insane when he's been on the floor. And like I said, we saw the level of importance when he went down. Like we just like
Oh yeah,
it was
100%.
gleaming that it was like, yo, this team is a completely different ball club with Devin Booker off the floor. And it's easy to say that about most superstars, but there's a difference between a team playing different and functioning different. And what I mean by that is when a team plays different, you just see a different wrinkle in them, and there's a different guy who is forced to step up, or a different play style that illuminates a different group of dudes that are on the floor that typically don't get the shine as like that they normally do. No, this team could quite not literally operate offense
Yeah.
without Devin Booker on the floor.
Yes.
This is not changing styles. This is literally going from being one of the better offenses in the league to not being able to generate baskets. That's
Yeah.
how important Devin Booker is to the Phoenix Suns, bro. You
Yeah.
just can't sleep on it.
Yeah. Devin Booker has been awesome this year. He's been absolutely awesome, and I cannot deny that. For my two picks, Damian Lillard,
Okay.
100%, 100%. That is a given. And man, when I tell you there was like 5 or 6 names that had to
Right?
go through this, like 5 or 6 names, I this may be horrible timing, especially with like the amount of like crap he's in right now. I can't deny this guy's ability this year, man. I can't. He's still one of my dudes. Yes, he is. He still has to serve 3 more games of suspension, but this guy has been legit all season long. Give me John Morant.
I understand.
Give me
I
John Morant.
understand.
Give me John Morant. I mean, let's. The Grizzlies are the freaking second seed, and the
Yeah.
fact and like if it feels just wrong not having him like on the list just because of how amazing of a season he's still having. I mean, technically he is down from last season, but down from last season, John Morant still means he's averaging 27 points a game, 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 rebounds on 46% shooting. He still has been a fantastic player for the Grizzlies this year. He has been their lead guard. It is like a definitely a conversation, especially with the suspension he's been given. And a quick note on the suspension: they said it was an 8-game suspension. He technically already served 5 games because that includes the time that he was away with the Grizzlies. So that means he is eligible to return on March 20th.
Okay.
That means he's going to be playing over. He's going to be playing like over 60 games this year, which I don't think even Devin Booker can reach 60 games this year. But I think that with all this stuff that's going on, I think that's been kind of swept under the rug how great he's been this year. And I don't want to take that away from like what has been another amazing season from John Morant. The Grizzlies are the second seed. He is the driving force of that team. I'm still having him at that second guard position.
I don't blame you, bro. And the toughest part about the guard position this year, bro, is
Yeah.
think about the names we left off.
Oh, we're gonna get into
Anthony,
that after. Yeah,
like,
we're gonna we'll get. I'm gonna ask you that question like after these picks, but we're gonna go through like the amount of guys that we were
oh
we even
my
considering on
God.
this list. But
Yeah, bro, this was tough.
yeah, for sure. But yeah, it was a really tough decision, and Devin Booker was definitely on that list. But I gotta still go with John Morant and that second guard position alongside Damian Lillard. Now for the final front court spaces, you got 2 forwards and 1 more center. Who do you got, Jay?
All right, so Jimmy Butler got moved down.
Okay.
Julius Randle was elevated. So Jimmy Butler is now there. I don't know how the defensive player of the year doesn't make all NBA. So I feel like you have to put Jaren Jackson on this list at the forward spot. I don't know how you make DPOY, but you're not one of the top 15 guys in the league. I just don't know how you qualify there, how you don't qualify, excuse me. And then the toss-up, and maybe you can help me break the tie because I struggle with this. And it was actually between 3 dudes, which is like
3. Interesting. Yeah. Okay.
The 3 guys that came up as a tie at the center position for me are Domantas Sabonis.
Yeah.
Brook Lopez.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. And Anthony Davis.
I was not expecting you to say Brook Lopez. I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I was expecting a Bam Adebayo addition there.
I think, bro, I just think that Brook Lopez had the game in a chokehold when it came to DPOY for a good majority of the season, and then he fell off just enough for Jaren Jackson to just like springboard in front of him, and then Jaren hasn't looked back. But like, in terms of rim defending centers, in terms of overall defensive center capability, like Brook Lopez still has been like the second best center in the league, bro. Or like
Yeah.
he's up there. Like I think Brook Lopez defensively is up there with Anthony Davis and Joel Embiid in terms of being a
Yeah.
rim protector. Nicholas Claxton and Jared Allen and those guys come up as well. But like Brook Lopez has been really good while still providing that floor spacing for them. I think if you had to narrow it down, though, if I had to pick two of those three guys, I think it would be either DeMontis or Anthony Davis. DeMontis
Yeah.
is literally the hub of the
Oh
top
yeah.
offense in the league.
In NBA history, technically. In
Dude,
NBA history.
like he's that good. He's had that level of an impact on a Kings team that really just needed somebody to help unlock the rest of the pieces on that squad. And then you have Anthony Davis, who basically just comes in every time he comes off an injury and just completely puts the league on notice every single time. The issue has just been the consistency of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. That's a. If I had to break you a tie, and I'm gonna tell you, one of those two names are on my list.
Okay.
I'm going Sabonis. I'm going Sabonis.
Okay.
And yes, Anthony Davis has been great. Again, another thing that I will deduct him is that he missed quite a bit of games as well. But the Kings deserve a representative, man. There's no space in the backcourt. We need to have a Kings representative in here. Domantas Sabonis has been honestly the most important part of that team. He's averaging 7 assists a game, 12 rebounds, basically like 20 points a game, on 61% from the field. 61%.
Insane, bro.
Insane numbers. I think that his like overall impact on the Kings team. I mean, at this point, we thought no matter how good Sabonis is gonna be, like Tyrese Halliburton, like being like the star he's gonna become, it's gonna like eventually always gonna tip towards the Pacers side. It's an even trade, bro. It was an even trade. I think we just underestimated Domantas Sabonis' ability on the basketball court, but man, this guy's an All-NBA level talent, and I have to include him on this list. I don't know if you want to make your final decision from that, but I gotta go Sabonis.
I think I'm gonna lean Sabonis. I think you talked me into it. I think at the end of the day, he's just been a model of consistency. He quite literally has reinvigorated this Kings team. Like De'Aaron Fox is having a career year, but I think that has a lot more to do with what Domantas has brought to the table, like his ability to facilitate, his ability to create second chance points, his ability to just rebound at a high rate, which creates not only extra possessions for the Kings, but also limits possessions for other teams. It's been a really big help for them. The facilitating has helped the team play more together basketball. Shout out to the offseason moves because they picked up a bunch of dudes who just fit well around De'Aaron as well. But De'Aaron, I think, is the best player on the Kings. But Domantas Sabonis is the engine that makes the Kings go. And that's the difference. And I think that's what makes Domantas so important. And if he's that important to a team that is the best offense this season, the best offense historically, and ended up going from one of the lottery picks in the league last year to being the second best team in the Western Conference this year, you have to respect it. I think you have to.
Okay, yeah. So I guess we both have Sabonis as our final center. Down to my third team selection for forwards, and oh my goodness, it was a tough decision. Funnily enough, my one lock for this position, and you didn't even mention him. I'm going. I don't know. I'm still debating it till right now. Oh, this is gonna surprise some people. Give me Lauri Markkanen. Give me Lauri Markkanen as one of my forwards. Give me him, man. I mean, 25 points a game. He's probably going to win Most Improved Player as well, but the ability that this Jazz team has made to get everything possible out of Domantas Sabonis is amazing. I mean, he's almost 50-40-90. Lauri Markkanen, Lauri Markkanen. 50% from the field, 40% from three, 87% at the line. One of the guys top in the league at true shooting percentage, especially with the amount of attempts that he's getting. He's been just on a Jazz team that was suspected to be the worst team in the league, and he was able to take his game all the way to this level. I gotta show my respect to him. And for this final position, you mentioned Jimmy Butler. I was debating, but if Kevin Durant just played more games, man, if he just played more games, it would have been such an easier decision. But man, it came down to three guys for me. It came down to Jimmy, and the 2 Clipper guys. Came down to those 3. Maybe some bias here. I know he hasn't played like that many games. Give me Kawhi. Give me
What? Wait a minute. Wait,
Kawhi.
TV. I thought you were gonna sell and at least pick Paul George, who did make the All-Star team this year. Wait a minute.
Kawhi's
Okay.
gonna play. He's gonna reach 55 games if he continues to play at least like the rest of this season, which it looks like it's gonna be. He'll reach 55 games, and I'm
Is this
really
off of
banking on
name
that.
value, TV? Are we leaning on name value for Kawhi Leonard?
Have you seen his? I mean, he started off slow this year. I will say that he did start off a bit slow. The last month or 2 that he's been playing, he's back to normal Kawhi, man. He's back to normal Kawhi.
Is this recency bias, TV? That's the question. Is this the Toronto coming out, TV? I gotta know.
Have you seen the stats? I mean, let's be honest. 23 and a half points per game, 4 assists, 6 rebounds. The efficiency is ridiculous. 51% from the field, 42% from 3, 87% at the line. And his defensive ability is still there. Even especially coming off the injury. The Clippers go where Kawhi goes. I don't care how good Paul George is. This team goes where Kawhi goes. Jimmy Butler it really became between Jimmy Butler and Kawhi Leonard. But honestly, I think, and I'm kind of projecting here too in this sense, because I think that Kawhi will reach like 55 games by the end of the year. I'm really, really hoping so, or like around 55 games, just so the argument looks a lot better. But man, I mean, Jimmy Butler is having kind of maybe I think it's just Jimmy Butler as a regular season player in general. He's just kind of pedestrian. He doesn't try. His numbers just really elevate to the playoffs. So when I look at his regular season, I just think that there's always something left to be desired with Jimmy Butler. But in terms of Kawhi Leonard, especially with the way he's been able to bounce back and play the way he has, even a month before the All-Star break until now, Kawhi's back, man. Kawhi's back, and he's going to be a force. And I think that the way he ends this regular season, which is I think going to be really strong, because the Clippers really want to avoid the play-in. I don't think they want to be a part of that play-in. So Kawhi Leonard's going to play as many games as possible. Actually, I think they have 13. They have 13 games left, so he's going to play a maximum of 54 games. I think he'll play over 50 Kawhi and make my argument a lot better. But I have Kawhi Leonard there at my final 4 position. Is it name value a bit? Yes. Is it a little? But Kawhi Leonard's stats has speaks for itself, and the way that he's just played now that he's back to his normal self. You can't deny it, man. You absolutely can't deny it. He's still that robot. He's still that guy. I have him at that final 4 position. What would that happen if freaking KD didn't go down again, man? I hate to make this sort of decisions, but I'm heading Kawhi. That is definitely the weird choice, but I'm gonna have Kawhi as my final 4 position.
I feel you. It's a little recency bias, but I understand, especially from a name value standpoint, if you have to factor that in as well. Kawhi Leonard definitely is one of the better players left to choose from at the 4 position. Not a great year at the forward spot. Not a great year.
I mean, we talked about this in the All-Star as well.
Big time stories, huh?
We also talked about this in the All-Star break too.
The
4 positions were tough to pick.
Yeah, not a great year at the 4 position. I feel like this was a year where there were a lot of breakout candidates, a lot of guys who fall under that most improved category. But in terms of a lot of the household names that tend to make up these All-NBA lists, not a lot of guys that we feel confident in. And even the dudes who are on this list, there's a handful of dudes that you can make an argument that not only maybe should they not be positioned as a second team or a third team guy, but I think you can make an argument that they shouldn't even be in consideration for all NBA when there's a handful of other dudes with certain cases. I think we're about to get into that in a second. But
Wait, who's your other 4th player besides Jimmy?
Besides Jimmy, it was Jaren Jackson.
Jaren Jackson. Okay, yeah. Cool. All right. Before we go into all our all NBA teams, give me some players that you were thinking about that couldn't make the list.
Dude, Tyrese, off rip. Tyrese was the first name. Tyrese not making it hurt my heart. Couldn't deal with it. Jaylen Brown not being classified as a forward jacked my whole thing up, because honestly, Jimmy Butler wouldn't have been on this list if Jaylen Brown qualified to be a forward instead of a guard. Actually, I understood it.
I mean, look, maybe Okay, what about this? Because I think Jaylen Brown deserves a spot. What if we both put him as a forward? I'll remove Kawhi, you remove like whoever you do.
If we can count Jaylen Brown as a forward, I will take Jimmy Butler off right now.
I'll take Kawhi off too. You know what? Let's do
Bet.
that. Let's make Jaylen Brown our
It
forward.
says guard forward in his readout, so that's why I'm like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I
Funny,
know he probably
what's a
plays
depth
the
chart? Okay,
because I think he plays the three for them. I think he
okay.
plays the three, and
Actually,
Jason
he
Tatum
might
usually
does.
plays the
Yeah.
four.
You're right.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's do that. I'll move my Kawhi pick because I think that I'll move my Kawhi pick. You move your Jimmy. Let's both put Jaylen Brown. I think he deserves it over both of those dudes.
But yeah, Ja not being on the list was tough for me. He's like literally one of the top 5 most favorite players for me personally, even with all of
Yeah.
the stuff going on. Laurie not being on this list was tough for me because me personally, I've been a big
Yeah.
advocate for Laurie this season with the way
Yeah.
he's played. So
Mhm.
not having him on there was tough. And another guy that comes up that I just feel like it's super tough not to put him on, but it's just how the cookie crumbled, is De'Aaron. I
As
just
De'Aaron,
think,
I hate it.
bro,
I wanted him to be on there.
De'Aaron is going to continue to fall into this pocket of being good enough to be in this position, but just not have the name value or the campaign value amongst the league to push his name into that echelon. Because I think you can make a really decent argument for him as one of the top 6 guards in the NBA this year.
Yeah.
But when you like
The
when you look at
competition's
body
tough.
of work, when you look at all of it, it's just like somebody has to fall off. Maybe him versus Damian Lillard is like the closest fight to me. Maybe it's him versus D Book because of D Book not being on the floor nearly as much.
Yeah.
But I just think that the impact of Devin Booker was felt so much when he was off the floor that carries an odd amount of weight behind it. And that's why I couldn't help but put Devin Booker on this list. But De'Aaron not being on this list is
Yeah.
unfortunately a crime to humanity in terms of picking all
Yeah.
NBA lists, but it's just somebody has to be left off.
It does. Yeah. Yeah, it's unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, you mentioned some of the guys. Tyrese, I want to put on there. De'Aaron for sure. De'Aaron was one of those guys I really wanted to put in there. It's just the guard position is just way too deep in the NBA. Like it's just unfortunate that he is a guard, even though he is like extremely talented. Other guys I want to make a case for. Look again, low key. If Kyrie played enough games, he would be in this conversation as well. He just like is just missing like way too much time. Shout out to him. Zion, 29 games, just clearly not enough. But he was all NBA caliber when he was on the court. Um, Besides that, Jaren again, I liked your case for Jaren Jackson. Um, Anyone else? James Harden again, but I think it was just like really like a really deep position as well. So yeah. Before before we move on to the next topic, let's just like go through all of our like our all NBA teams.
Okay.
Um, we'll start with the first team. I'll start with mine first. So for my All NBA first team, I got Luka Doncic, Donovan Mitchell, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic. Jay, yours?
Yeah, same list pretty much. Luka Doncic, Steph Curry, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Nikola Jokic.
Awesome. My second team, I'm gonna get Damian Lillard. Sorry, not Damian Lillard. SGA, Steph Curry, um, Julius Randle, LeBron James, and Joel Embiid. Yours?
Donovan Mitchell got moved down here. This is where our list initially differed. So I got Donovan Mitchell, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander is here. Julius Randle moved up.
Yeah.
LeBron James is here, and then Joel Embiid.
Sick. And then for my All NBA third team, give me John Morant, Damian Lillard, Jaylen Brown, Laurie Markkinen, and Domantas Sabonis.
And for me, I got Devin Booker, Damian Lillard, Jaylen Brown, Jaren Jackson Jr., and then DeMontis Sabonis.
Awesome. Again, there's a lot of conversations to be had with so many guys on this list. But let us know down below if we're missing anyone. If we completely like even like not said anyone that you guys like would have had on this list, let us know down below. Moving on to the next topic, and this has to do with our draft segment once again. And today, our draft pool is going to be something very different. We talked about Nikola Jokic in the beginning of the episode, and we talked about how he is possibly going to be a 3-time MVP, and he also was the first ever second round pick MVP, and he's going to do this basically almost 3 times in a row if he does get it this year. So our draft pool for today, we are going to be going through all of the second round picks in NBA history, and we're going to try and make a team out of those out of that list. There's a lot of great candidates here. Once again, I'm going to throw it over to Jay. We have a list in front of us of all the second round picks that we can choose from. But Jay, who are you going to go as your first pick in this draft of all of the best second round picks?
So, TV, can I ask a caveat question real quick?
Sure.
Is Nikola Jokic allowed to be on the board for this, considering the topic is about him, or should it be everybody except him, considering he's typically he's probably the guy that should be coming off the board first?
I was gonna keep him on the list, but it's up to you. Do you think that you want to keep it just because it's kind of like it's about him, or do you it's really up to you? I really don't mind either way.
We can keep him on the list. That doesn't mean I'm gonna take him.
Yeah, no, take him. Go ahead.
So yeah, I'll take Nikola Jokic with the first pick.
Yeah, there's no explanation needed. He's going to be potentially a 3-time MVP, so that is 100% valid. My first pick in this draft, one of my personal favorite players of all time. Give me Manu.
Oh, that's good.
I like that. Manu Ginobili. I don't care if he runs shooting guard or point guard. This guy is a freaking magician. Would have been so much better if he was freaking a number 1 or 2 option in the league. Unfortunately, we weren't able to see that, but he still gets all the respect in the world. Give me Manu Ginobili at one of my guard positions.
All right, I'm gonna match you a guard for a guard. Let me go ahead and grab. Who's a good? Ooh, I got one. Gilbert Arenas.
Oh, that was a good one. He was on my list too.
Let me get Agent Zero.
Oh man, yeah. People forget, man. Before the whole gun incident, and funnily enough that we were talking about Ja earlier, but the OG gun incident with Gilbert Arenas, which kind of derailed his career. He was a freaking bucket. He was averaging, he was one of the top scorers in the league. So yeah, he definitely deserves that place on the list. For myself, I don't think you can go with another center, so I think I'm fine going with a forward here. I need someone with grit on my team. I have Ginobili with the finesse. Give me someone with grit. Do I want to go? Actually, no, this is kind of tough. You know what? I'm gonna go with another. I'm gonna go with my small forward position here. I'm gonna go with someone who is a NBA champion, a second round pick, and it really didn't take him until he got to this team where he became really good. Give me Chris Middleton.
Dang it! That was literally the next guy on my board.
Yeah, give me Chris Middleton. I'll play him at the 3, but man, underrated. He's gonna be one of those guys at the end of his career. He's gonna be completely underrated, but he was a freaking great player, especially on both ends of the floor. Give me Middleton as my second pick.
I don't think he's going to top out as a similar guy to this, but in terms of NBA history's view on him. But I'm going to grab a similar guy in terms of a big-time 3-and-D wing dude who showed up in a big way. Definitely did most of his damage as part of the Seattle Supersonics. Give me Rashard Lewis.
No, that was my next pick. No.
Yes, sir. Got to, man.
I loved Rashard Lewis, man. One of my favorite players growing up, especially as a 4 or 5-year-old kid. I loved watching Rashard Lewis play. Man, that's a tough one. That's a tough one to swallow. But I'm gonna take a Swiss Army knife over here, the guy who could do a little bit of everything, and I think he's gonna go down as one of the best all-around guys in NBA history. Give me Draymond Green.
Fair. He was gonna have to come off the board eventually.
Yeah, so give me Draymond Green there.
Oh man. Okay, let's put. Oh, okay. No. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna move Jokic to the 4. Yes, sir.
Wow.
We're already making adjustments. We're gonna move Jokic to the 4, and I gotta get the guy who stole LeBron James's DPOY. Give me Marc Gasol.
No, bro. You're literally taking my next pick every single time. I was like, there's no way. I was gonna let him slip. I'm like, there's no way he's gonna take 2 centers on this, and this guy went freaking 2 centers. Get out of here, man. Okay, there's no way you're gonna take 3, so I'm just gonna leave my center to the last pick. Unless you want to go 3 centers lineup, go ahead. Play Jokic at point guard. You'd probably be good there anyway. But let me go with my point guard. Let me go. Do I want to play it? I might play it a bit spicy. You know what? I'm gonna tell you right now. I was gonna go Mark Price at the point guard position, pretty underrated point guard back in the day. But I got this guy's jersey on for a reason. Give me one of my favorite players growing up. Give me Michael Redd.
Give me Michael Redd. Michael Redd is a sneaky one. If you know, you know. Michael Redd. Look, it might have only looked like a flash in the pan season, but Michael Redd had himself a good little career.
He did, man. I think he made. What is it? He didn't make an All-Star. He made 1 All-Star game in his career and 1 All-NBA. But he had a solid career. Yes, he had a lot of injuries derailing that, but he had 4 or 5 seasons over 20 points per game. He was a solid player back in the day, and one of my favorite guys. Once again, growing up, the Bucks were not a team that people wanted to watch, but Michael Redd made me want to watch a little bit as a kid. So give me Michael Redd at my other guard position. I don't care if Ginobili can he can play point guard. I'm fine with it. But I have to get my guy Michael Redd on that team. He took one of my guys in Rashard Lewis, so I had to take one of my other guys.
All right, so with this last pick, I'm kind of torn between two guys, but I'm gonna go ahead and lean towards some shooting. I think that's kind of where we gotta fill out the rest of this rotation. Give me Jeff Hornacek.
3-and-D guy, one of the OG kind of 3-and-D guys back in the 90s, so
Yes,
completely respect that pick. That means I could take my choice at center. You really took two of my. I really thought I had Marcus Gasol, man. I was so freaking confident. You know what? Let's get one of the more entertaining centers in the league. One of the pillars of Lob City. Give me DeAndre Jordan. We need someone to protect the rim. And freaking prime DeAndre Jordan, a multiple-time All-NBA player, man. Yes, that was when the freaking center position was in its roughest times. I mean, I think he was like an All-NBA first-team center at one point. But, man, DeAndre Jordan was a force on the defensive end in his prime, so give me DeAndre Jordan at that final center position. But, Jay, before we move on to the next topic, let me see your best second-round pick of all-time team.
All right, so my best second-round pick of all-time starting five consists of Gilbert Arenas at the 1, Jeff Hornacek at the 2, Rashard Lewis at the 3, Nikola Jokic at the 4, and Marc Gasol at the 5.
Very, very nice team. Going over to my team, I'm having Manu run to 2. I don't care. Give me Michael Redd I have Manu Ginobili running to 1. He could do that. Give me my guy Michael Redd at the 2. Chris Middleton at the 3, Draymond Green at the 4, and DeAndre Jordan at the 5. Mine's a bit more modern. I don't have a single guy from the 90s, but that's completely fine. Let us know down below what you guys think. Did we miss anyone with the picks? Jay, if you had like one or two names that you were thinking about before we move on, who are those other guys that deserve some love?
The two guys that didn't come off the board for me that I wish I would have been able to pick if we had to fill like a bench out or something. Alex English definitely would have showed some love to him. And another guy, probably a little bit more on the underrated aspect, but Nick Van Exel too. That was another one I was kind of sleeping on.
Yeah, for sure. Those are definitely some good guys over there. For me, again, Mark Price was about to make my team. Very underrated point guard from the 90s. He didn't make it. And also from the 4th position, man, Kukoc or freaking Carlos Boozer. I don't know. Those guys are just solid.
Bulls legends.
Yes, exactly. Those are guys that are also thinking about, but I think we have some damn good teams. Let us know down below who you guys think had the better draft. Final segment of the show, and you know what time it is. It is TV's quiz again. And keeping it up with the kind of Nikola Jokic theme, we have my quiz today surrounds basically there's been so many international players, especially like in the 2000s, that have like really like gone to the scene, and the NBA is becoming more and more of an international league with players like Embiid and stuff like that really taking over. I mean, let's be honest, the top 3 guys in the MVP discussion are all non-US born players, and it's showing like how much the international takeover has really been in the NBA. But Jay, for this quiz, this could take pretty easy because there's a lot of obvious ones, but I need you to name me the 15 players who have 3 or more All-Star appearances since the year 2000 who were born outside, who are labeled as international players. I'm not going to include Canada. I'll tell you right now, I'm not including Canadian players. I'm just saying like non-American born. So like no Canada, no US, but everyone else outside of that. So there are 15 players with 3 or more All-Star appearances since the year 2000. There are a bunch of obvious ones, so I think you're going to knock out a bunch of them really quick, but let's see who you got.
Okay. Jokic,
yep.
Embiid,
yep.
Giannis,
that's 3 of them.
Luka,
that's a 4th.
Okay.
There are a lot of current guys here too, because like I said,
let's get some more of the easy ones out. That I can think of off rip. Dirk,
yep.
There's a lot more current guys too. Wait a minute. Let me not be an idiot, and I'm gonna pull up the team so I know. Is Tony Parker on this list?
Yep, he is.
Okay, NBA team. I just need to see the logos. Yeah. That's all that matters. Who are some other guys? Did Manu make multi-time All-Star teams?
No, he did not.
Okay, I didn't think so, but it was worth a shot.
Yeah.
Domantas
Sabonis is on this list. Yep.
Okay, cool.
He had 3.
And I was gonna say he might be like right on the dot. He might be on the nose with it.
Yeah.
Who are some other guys that fall into that category though?
I mean, some people might say this guy completely fell off a cliff this year, but this guy was like a 3-time All-Star, mostly known for another team, but he got traded in this past offseason and kind of like devalued him a lot.
Kristaps?
Nope.
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
Nope. So, someone basically as tall as Kristaps. I mean, he's known for like basically like dominating one side of the floor. That's about it.
Oh, what the heck? Oh man, I'm blanking.
Most known for the Utah Jazz. He's having kind of a rough season here.
Oh, yuck. Wow. No. I wouldn't have correlated those two. You're talking about Rudy. Yeah.
Rudy,
I wouldn't have correlated those two together, though. Rudy, yeah. God dang. Rudy Gobert's fall from grace. God, I can't even consider him as an all-star anymore. God dang.
Well, speaking of a fall from grace, this guy made 3 All-Star games early in his career, and he, I think, is even relegated to the bench, and he's only like 25, 26 years old.
That is brutal. I can't believe that.
No, this next guy. I mean, like, he's on like, this guy's like getting a max contract right now, and he's being played like on a bench on like a Eastern playoff team. We talked about him like in like previous episodes that this guy completely fell off a cliff. And confidence, man, confidence is a huge thing with this guy.
Holy cow. Okay, we'll get back to him because I want to throw him off. Okay, Marc Gasol and Pau Gasol have to both be on this list.
There you go. Yep.
Okay,
there
cool.
you go. There.
How many more people do I have?
I think we have 1, we have 2, 3, 4. I think 4, 5 left.
5. Okay.
5 left.
Okay.
2. How many current guys are here? There's 3 current guys and 2 retired dudes. 2. One of the guys actually plays for the team right now.
Huh?
Dude, he's I think he's the only international guy in your starting lineup.
Vucevic made 3 All-Star teams?
He made 3 All-Star teams.
Oh, God. That's disgusting. Wow, okay.
Yeah. Vucevic made...
No disrespect to Vuce, man, but that... Oh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Another guy who is a very like good starter on his team right now, but man, people forget he was basically a perennial All-Star when he was like in his prime.
I didn't know he made 3. I know he made a handful, but I didn't know he made 3.
This next guy plays for one of the top teams in the East. Very good, like one of the most reliable centers in the league. Very intelligent.
I didn't say Joel Embiid already?
Nope. He's like in that mix like for like top teams in the East right now. He's a bit on the older side right now, but man, he's still like producing at a pretty high level. Maybe not an all-star level, but he's still a very he contributes a lot as a starter.
That's not Al Horford, is it?
It is Al Horford.
What is Al Horford's nationality?
Dominican Republic.
Oh, okay. I wouldn't even consider that.
Yeah,
okay, cool. So
there's one more current guy. The guy who, I mean, I talked about how Gobert kind of fell off a cliff this year. This guy like fell off a cliff like bad. I think he's even like, I mean, we talk about his injuries a lot, but man, I think he's even injured again right now. If I tell you the team, it's gonna completely give it away. But his team is just his team is just like in the playoffs, like not even in the play, just on the edge of the playoffs.
Just on the edge of the playoffs. Okay.
In the East.
In the East. Okay. Clint Capella?
Nope. I mean,
sorry. I heard fall off, and I was like, eh.
No, this guy fell off harder than Clint Capella, bro. I think he's even worse than him right now.
Okay, wow, that's brutal.
He's only 25, 26 years old, I think. He's on the Brooklyn Nets, bro. Let's move on. He's on the Brooklyn Nets.
No way. Wait. DeAndre? Wait, DeAndre's not still there, is he?
No. Bro.
No.
Yo, the Brooklyn
Nets. Simmons.
Ben Simmons.
Wow.
Ben Simmons made 3 All-Star teams.
Dude, this is another one of those guys that falls under that category of like, it's so scary how soon your peak can be. Yeah. Ben Simmons, forgetting that he was a perennial All-Star feels crazy, but he's literally only been in the league for like 5 seasons.
Yeah. 5 seasons. 5 or 6 or 6 years.
5 or 6. One of the two, but that's good God.
Yeah.
Man.
He was supposed to be the next LeBron, bro. He was supposed to be the next LeBron.
It's brutal.
It's brutal. And then now we have 2 We have two international guys here from the early to mid 2000s. One of them basically made the All-Star team every year because he had an entire country behind him, and he just was
Yao?
super popular. Yep, Yao Ming.
Okay, he was the one I was leaving in my back pocket because I felt
Yeah.
like he made it a bunch of times, but like he was the one in the back pocket.
And this guy, I mean, again, he's one of my boys, one of my favorite players, like growing up as well. Won a championship with the Dallas Mavericks, but was most known for the Sacramento Kings back in the day.
Vlade?
Same team, same era of a team.
Stojakovic?
Yep, Peja
Okay.
Stojakovic. Absolutely love that guy.
Woo!
Oh, one of my favorite players back in the day, man. He just had to show him some love. But yeah, those are all the 15 players that made
What the heck?
all like international players, not U.S. or Canada, who had 3 or more All-Star appearances since the year 2000.
That's a lot of cliffs, TV. Jesus.
Yeah,
That's a lot of cliffs.
yeah. Ben Simmons making it. I can't believe he made 3. Even to this day, like, man, this guy was literally. I think he made the All-Star team in his like sophomore season, which is nuts. So yeah, that was crazy. But yeah, if there's any other quizzes you want me to do, want us to do, let us know down below. Give us some more suggestions as well. But yeah, Jay, without further ado, I think we're about to end this episode. Any words to say to these people as we sign out?
Hey, man, our All-NBA list was pretty wonky, so let us know in the comment section anybody that we missed, because I feel like you could build a whole separate All-NBA team just out of guys we didn't end up putting in our list. So definitely let us know the groups of people that you think deserved a lot more consideration. That All-NBA list is crazy. And anybody that you have at the forward position, please slide it my way, because Jimmy Butler was such a weird spot. We put Jaylen Brown there, but at the end of the day, I don't feel like there's a ton of dudes who played enough games at the forward position to really fill that All-NBA spot. So let us know who you guys felt like was deserving of an All-NBA spot between those 3 teams. Really interested to hear what you guys say. And then on top of that, bro, less than 20 games. We're under 15 games before postseason play, bro. Once the play-in games to kick in, the postseason is underway, bro. So I am looking forward to it. We are only a couple of weeks away from it, and that means we are about to see top-tier elite level basketball. Love to see it.
100%, 100%. And you're going to only be able to catch that on the Hit Your Free Throws podcast. So remember, follow us on all the socials, at Hit Your Free Throws, Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Remember to subscribe to the podcast networks, Apple and Spotify, and follow and make sure you're subscribed and hit the notification bell on YouTube so you will not miss an episode. But this is where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you guys for watching or listening. This is Jay, aka the Knockdown Jay. This is TV, aka TV on Basketball. We're signing out. Have an awesome day, awesome night, guys. Take it easy. Peace.
Peace.